Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to Word with Sherb. I'm here with James Carr, former Siena men's basketball player and our West Hill freshman basketball coach. James, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Jordan. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome honor. Me and you talk a lot about basketball almost every day at practice, going back and forth, Syracuse and Siena. You guys have Jerry McNamara now. It's one of the Syracuse legends. One of my favorite players ever. Watching him just shoot on YouTube highlights is unbelievable. Um,
Absolutely.
I have a few questions for you today about your career at Siena and why'd you pick Siena, and also that Siena is now back in the dance after 16 years. The last time they were in the dance, you were on the team. How you feel about that?
It's exciting, man. I mean, I obviously you graduate and you still have ties to, your alma mater and always want them to do well. So I've been had a vested interest in watching them over the last few years, just kind of waiting for that opportunity. And I felt like it was a real chance for them to get back into the tournament back in 2020. And obviously, the tournament didn't happen that year. So I'm just excited that they got another crack at it and were able to kind of see it all the way through. So definitely excited to see how they perform on Thursday.
Got a tough matchup. You have the number one overall Duke Blue Devils.
I mean, it definitely wasn't ideal, but it's not as if it hasn't happened before. And as we always say, why not us? So we have our shot.
Hey, 16 has happened a few times before. FDU. Um, yeah, I'm hoping too. Sienna, I hate Duke. Um, what was it like being a part of three-peat team conference championship in the MAC? Or it wasn't the MAC.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
it
it was.
it,
It
it,
was the
wa-
MAC.
it was the Mac. I think the funniest part of the entire journey was looking at the full scope of things. My freshman year, we actually had the opportunity to make it, and we ended up losing in the championship game, and that kind of helped propel us the next year. Just knowing that we still had a very talented squad, and understanding that not everyone believed in us, especially going into that second year, even still. So having the opportunity to prove the doubters wrong, and then our brotherhood of being together day in and day out in practice on the road, through winter breaks, through spring break when you make the tournament. It was about as good of an experience that you can have with a group of fellow teammates and colleagues as much as you can. And the growth that came from that propelled us into the next year and into the next year and so forth.
Can you tell me about the teams that you played in the first two rounds to get to the Sweet 16?
Sure. So the first year, we ended up being a 13 seed, and we were playing the number 4 seed Vanderbilt, who had an NBA prospect in AJ Ogilvy, who was a 7 footer, very talented and a lot of shooters. So we kind of had an understanding of how they played and how we could potentially scheme against them to kind of have them play us in man to man, and also understanding that making them work hard every single possession on offense, but then making them have to play us on defense because we also could shoot and could get out in transition. So the style of play actually suited us much better. And then going into the next round, playing against Villanova and Scotty Reynolds in that team, and going up against a Jay Wright coached team at the peak of his powers, all some would say, was both challenging and liberating, largely because a lot of my teammates, come from the Philly area between Philly as well as DMV. So I was actually familiar with a lot of the players we were playing against just through going down there in the summer and playing pickup. So it was good to kind of see a lot of those same guys and talk a little trash and have the opportunity to go up against them on the big stage. So it was a good time. Then going into the next year where we ended up playing Ohio State in the first round. And ultimately, I think it's probably one of the classic NCAA tournament games.
What seed? What seed were you
We
guys
were
at?
we ended up being a 9 seed, and they were the 8 seed. So it was exciting because that was an opportunity for us to again be on the national stage, go up against who Evan Turner, who ended up being the number 2 pick in that spring or that summer's NBA draft, going up against BJ Mullins, who was also a first round pick, and seeing the talent that was just on that team, and then also understanding how Big Ten basketball was played. That's a whole different style compared to what we did. And then, ended up winning that game and playing the number 1 overall seed in that tournament, which ended up being Louisville, with Terrence Williams, with Earl Clark, who is someone and one of my close friends just from being in the same high school class as him and playing in the same circuits for AAU. So again, going up against a Rick Pitino team now, and you're going against these coaching legends on the other side. Kind of seeing that thing that you hear about for March Madness and college basketball and the excitement around it on the big stage. It was all very illuminating and exciting for us. And then going into that last year where we ended up being, again, a 7-10 seed. It was a 7-10 matchup where we're the 10 going up against a Purdue team that has Jawan Johnson, Etwan Moore, Robbie Hummel. That was a tough game, and all that was probably the real introduction into how Big Ten basketball was played, which unfortunately for us wasn't our style at that time, and they kind of punched us in the mouth. And as much as we tried to kind of come back towards that, we ended up not being able to get the job done. But overall, I wouldn't take any of those experiences away at all from playing in the tournament, getting that feel, understanding how it looks, not only on the court, but behind the scenes and everything that happens with, the hotels that you stay at, the shoot arounds that you go to in a foreign gym in a different region that you're not used to, and all the things that you kind of take for granted on a routine basis. It was all exciting and prepares you for that next level should you make it.
I mean, three-peat in the conference championship, no matter what conference you're in, is very difficult. And the fact that Siena did that 3 years in a row, getting to the big dance and playing big teams, it's a huge milestone, especially in a small conference like that.
For sure. It was one of those things of going from the mid major that no one knew about to the mid major that no one wanted to play, especially around bracket buster time in that early February where you kind of play those last out of conference games, and not being the team that anyone really wanted to play that could throw off their potential seeding. It was fun to see that, and really we took it as a compliment for sure.
I wanted to take another step to your coach, Fran McCaffrey, who now took Penn to the NCAA tournament with his fifth different team. What about him really brought you to Siena?
Honestly, I think it was the opportunity for Coach Mack to see me, my junior year out on the AAU circuit and seeing them in the background. And then that summer going into my senior year, where I really had even higher profile and opportunity to play against some of the nation's elite, and still seeing them on in the background and wanting to recruit me. And funny enough, Siena actually wasn't my first choice. I was ready to have the opportunity to actually go to Quinnipiac. And what shifted my purview of wanting to go to Siena was, one, it was a big Vegas tournament where, again, you're going up against your Greg Odens, your Earl Clarks, your Mike Conley Juniors, and that entire team, your Michael Beasleys, your Kevin Durant's, and holding up against that group. And then having the opportunity to say, I'm not the kid that's supposed to be playing with these high level D1 prospects. And the school that was with me throughout that entire process was Siena. Coach Mack, as well as Mitch Bonaguro and the rest of the coaching staff, were always there, keeping tabs on me, showing up at my high school games, and were very forward in their assessment of me as a player, understanding that, hey, I was a great defensive player, really smart, great passer, but there was still levels to get to offensively because I was still very raw. And understanding that they wanted to take that challenge to say, hey, you come here and we can enhance what you already do defensively, enhance what you do as an handoff kind of playmaker through the post, but then really get you to be a scorer and someone that you have to guard on the block as well as in the pick and roll. So seeing that, and then understanding them coming into my home with my mom and laying out what they envisioned for me. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that they did that and more.
I mean, hey, if you got the best of it, then that's awesome. Your 4 years there, I'm guessing, were some of the best years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it, it, it's it was great to go there because I wanted to go to a school at the end of the day what that was a little bit smaller. Just knowing that me from a scholastic standpoint at a bigger school wouldn't have been the most ideal fit for me. Just needing a little bit smaller settings than the big stadium classes that you ended up going to. But then also it being closer to home so that my family, being in New York City, could drive up to the games. A lot of our games were played down in Westchester as well as New Jersey. So having them be able to come and see road games and the family feel, I think, was truly why I picked the program, because from the head coach to the assistant coaches to ourselves, we all felt like a family. We hung out with each other more than we hung out with our family, obviously, because we're at school. But Sundays, Coach Mack would host family dinners. We would go over, watch games, have a dinner, sit there, play with the kids. Coach Mack and Miss Mack bringing their kids to practices and games and just getting to know them, and then watch them progress and get older to watch them play for their father in certain instances were things and memories that I now look back and envision that I wouldn't trade for anyone else. So those were some of the best times of my life, and it helped propel me and prepare me for the next few years of early adulthood. And even now, I wouldn't be the man that I am today without my stop at Siena, to be honest.
I mean, that's an amazing story. Each person has their own story going through college, but the fact that you felt family within your team, your coach, people around you is an awesome milestone in your life. And the fact that it has taken you to where you are now is amazing. So, I mean, I'm proud for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's funny, even to this day, there's still those ties because, as you said, Coach Mack is now the head coach at UPenn. Ronald Moore, our starting point guard on those Siena teams, is on his coaching staff. They're playing in Greenville, South Carolina. So both the Siena team and the UPenn team will be in that region for their first round games. So it's almost serendipitous to see that, like, it comes full circle no matter what, that at the end of the day, no matter where we go, all of the different routes that we may take, we're still going to be Saints through and through.
You said it better. Um, one last question.
Sure.
What was it like scoring your first basket for Siena?
Um, I remember it vividly. It was actually a little bit of a running joke my freshman year. I always somehow found a way to score and get fouled. So, first game on the road at Stanford, playing against Landry Fields and that crew. And, it's a packed gym. It's the first game of the season. The crowd is on us. And again, we didn't necessarily win that game. But when I got in, I within the last few minutes got the opportunity to catch the ball, score, get an and one, missed the free throw. But that trend actually kept going for, I think, the first 4 or 5 games that I played. Is somehow, some way, I always ended up getting an and one to score. But don't get me wrong, even though we lost that Stanford game on the road, when they had to come play us at home with the Lopez twins, we ended up winning. So we'll take that away.
Thank you so much for taking the time with me. First interview, word was Sherb. Can't wait to have more interviews on the channel. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Thanks, James.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it.